Omar, welcome to the Leanpub launch video for Easier Corporate Life, a practical guide to navigating work, pressure, and growth. I was wondering if you could take a moment to talk to us a little bit about yourself, about who you are and where you are, and what you've done in your career, and what your book is about and who it's for.
Sure, Lynn. Thank you for having me today. I'm very glad to be with you. To give you a brief introduction about myself, my name is Omar Ossama. I am from Cairo, Egypt. Actually, I'm a software engineer graduate, but now I'm working in the business consulting of the ERP and SAP. So I'm passionate about writing. I love to express ideas to the audience. I love knowledge sharing. I started from one post on LinkedIn. So when this started and I created my newsletter, I wrote around 150 articles.
Okay.
So that will give me motive to write this in form of ebooks. So it started from LinkedIn and now I'm publishing the book through Leanpub. My book idea is called Easier Corporate Life. It is for all the individuals who struggle in the corporate life and they just say, I quit, I need to open a business. So, this individual doesn't have the understanding of the corporate life. Corporate life is not just being having good technical skills and finishing the task. Corporate life is about communication, team dynamics, leadership, and time management. And what I always say in my book, never transfer the pressure from your corporate life from 9 to 5 p.m. to after 5 p.m.
Right.
because like this you're affecting your work life balance. Don't let one meeting pressurize you that after 5 p.m. you're unable to be happy or live a healthy lifestyle. So individuals who read this book and apply the real life experience I'm sharing can help them navigate the work pressure, the stress, how to have a good communication skills with their team.
That's such a great description of the book, and it's a really good book, and you can tell from the way you describe it and the passion that you have for this subject, but also from the things you talk about in your book. It's very practical and it's very hands-on and it's very serious. And one thing I grew up in a family where no one really had any experience working for companies. That was just not a thing.
Yes.
They were farmers,
Mm.
and priests, or basically, and ministers and stuff like that, and refugees and things like that. So they did no idea. And so I ended up working for a big investment bank in London at one point, and it was always this mystery to me. Like, everyone else seemed to get how to operate in this corporate environment. They understood what a career was, what teamwork was like in that environment and stuff. And one thing that really struck me, a really great navigation point that you give for someone who's lost like that, is think about the hiring practices at the company. What questions were you asked when you were in an interview? What are they looking for when they hire you? That's where one place you can look for what you should be doing. They hired you based on various data and skills, understandings and stuff like
That's
that.
correct.
So if you're truly lost and you don't want to ask anyone, think about your interview. They didn't ask you those questions or look for those qualities in you by accident. And then try and think about when you're interacting with people, there are people who share those traits. They were selected for the same reason, and you're all supposed to be interacting partly based on that shared understanding of why you're there and what you're doing.
That's correct. Because I always say, Len, that corporate life is blocks together. It's not about just a single task. I need to be very technical strong to finish this task. It's about how you communicate with your team, how you gather your requirements, how you deal with your manager, how you are able to support your team. And working on a global projects in global organization give you a great exposure. That is one from the benefit in corporate life. I will not just quit after 1 year or 2 years of struggling. No, corporate life is more larger than this. I'm not just going to open my business because I failed in corporate life. First, I have to design my day in the corporate life, how I want my day to work, either by putting time for meetings, time for tasks, time for communication. So in my book, I address multiple points, such as misunderstanding in the communication. If you're talking with your manager or you're talking with your team and misunderstanding happen, how you can handle this. Also, I'm talking about your emotional boundaries. How can you protect yourself emotionally during any interactions in the work. It come under emotional awareness. And also, Lynn, I'm talking about one point called the invisible effort. The invisible effort is the effort you work on it, for example, 4 hours, but you have zero output. This effort can be researching, searching, thinking of a problem, but we need to manage this to be able to have a productive day.
Yes, that's really excellent advice too. Making sure that sort of all that kind of work that you're doing, this kind of more or less going on in your head or in preparation for other things, is a structural part of the day, and perhaps is kind of has a way of being recognized at some point for all that hard work that you've done that maybe might not get recognized and that you might feel you've thrown away as well. There's a lot more we could talk about. But I don't want to go. My joke, as I always say to guests before we start recording, is it goes against my nature to have short conversations, but that's the idea for these book launch videos. I hope this video gave you a bit of a taste for this book. It's Easier Corporate Life, A Practical Guide to Navigating Work, Pressure, and Growth, by Omar Ossama. Thank you very much, Omar, for taking the time to do this
Thank you,
video
Lynn.
and
I
for
really
taking the
appreciate
time
your
to do it at
time.
1 a.m. in the morning, Cairo time. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you a lot. Nice meeting you.
Thanks.